Okay, econ students, we're going to go to lesson 10 here. Lesson 10, and I'll introduce this to you by saying this is about income, saving, and investment, one of my favorite topics. One that I probably didn't learn until later in life, and one I hope that you will pick up now. So let's talk about income. Okay, so income, saving, and investment, lesson 10. Income is the money that you or I can spend on consumption. Well, this is what your book says. Income typically refers to how much money you can spend on consumption during a certain period of time. You have what we call gross income and net income. Gross wages, net wages. Okay, gross income. When you hear the term gross income, that's how much money you make before you have to pay taxes. All right? That's gross income. Net income is essentially once you earn your money and you pay your taxes to the federal government or to the state government or local government, what you have left over for consumption. Consumption means consuming, using it up. Okay, that's income. All right. Earnings, for a business, it's called earnings. I guess I covered that in the last lesson. Savings is the money that we don't consume. We have our earnings, we spend, we have expenses, we talked about that last lesson, and the money left over, if there's money left over, is savings. It can actually be used for savings, or another term that you're going to learn is investment. So savings, all right? Now, if you are consuming more than you're making, all right? If you're spending more than you're making, that can't go on very long at all. And it will lead you to borrowing, or as your book says, dis-saving. And that just simply means that you've got to borrow. You can't continue to spend more than you make, so then you need to borrow. Borrow means to go and have someone give you a loan, have someone loan you money. Okay? And banks do that, and credit unions do that, and savings and loan institutions do that. But they'll charge you a fee, which is called interest, which we'll talk about in a minute. But that's what borrowing means, is when you're spending more than you're earning. The money to pay for whatever it is you got to pay for has got to come from someplace. So then you have another term called investment. An investment is the money that you're saving. Your income is high, your expenses are low, you have money left over saving. And a type of savings can be an investment. And an investment is where you're investing, you're putting it someplace where you want your money to do something. Okay? You want your money typically to grow. All right? And so there are different ways, there are different institutions that will help you see your money grow, and that's the term investing. It means it's going to grow for a future use, all right? A future use. I'm going to put that money over there into that account, that savings account, and that certain type of savings account is going to grow. Now, what do I mean by grow? There's a term called interest. Interest is when you put your money into an account, all right, the bank will pay you. They'll pay you for you putting your money into that account. It's called interest, all right? Interest is the money, interest is established at a rate of compensation, a rate of pay, that a institution, a bank, a savings and loan, a credit union, whatever, will pay you. Let's say it's 10%. So let's say you put money into this account, and the bank or the organization that you're putting your money on with, they're going to pay you 10%. What that means is if I put $100 into my account and I leave it there, then at the end of the month, at the end of the year, all right, I'm going to get 10% on my money, meaning they're going to pay me $100 times 0.10, that's 10%. They're going to give me $10. So just for parking my money in that account, I'm going to get at the end of the year, I'll have $110. A thing called compound interest says the next year, they'll take that $110 at 10%, and I'll get $11, okay? Or whatever that is, $110 at 10%, I think it's 11. And so at the end of the next year, that 11 will get added, so now my $100 went 100, and then it went to 110, and then now it's 121, all right? And so on, and that's compound interest. It builds on top. Now, saving and investing. Investing for the future is a good thing. There's a couple charts, and I don't want your eyes to roll up when we read it, but there's a couple charts in the book which show people who save and invest for the future and people who don't. And we're going to walk through that chart when we read this later this week. We'll probably get to this on Thursday. And I'll walk that through, but it shows people who invest and then people who don't invest. And usually the people who invest, as far as for the future goes, usually have more money, more assets, and so on. So, and then your book talks about how savings and investment can increase in the economy's future. And I'll give you an example in the class called Ben and Arthur. It's all about compound interest. It's the power of interest. It's the power of savings and investment. And I'll talk more about that in class. I'll give you a picture about two guys who invested at a young age, and they put their money in at a young age, and both of them ended up being just about, one was a millionaire and one was almost a millionaire when they got 30 years later. So savings and investment. It's the whole idea about saving, not consuming everything, but saving some off for a rainy day, for a future date, for whatever that is. Just like Robinson Crusoe in Lesson 4, just like he found a way to knock down more coconuts, and there were certain days where he would knock down a lot of them and save them so that on another day in the future he didn't have to work so hard and he could go do other things maybe that had value. All right? So there's your lesson, saving and income, saving and investment on Lesson 10. I hope that's cool. Let me just show you real quick the office. It's coming along, and let me just go like this. You can see the floor. The floor is in nice trim. What's missing here is there's my T. What's missing is that's called shoe molding. And if you see over there those strips of boards that are stained, colored, laying on the floor, that's shoe molding, and that actually, what he'll do, my worker, my handyman will take and the board basically sits like this. Okay, it goes tight. And you've seen that in your home maybe or whatever, okay? That's how that's going to look. Okay, so there's the Ferris colors, there's the windows. Okay, the closet, we're almost ready to roll here. Things are getting better. Okay, so thanks for letting me show that to you. Hopefully I didn't make you too dizzy by spinning things around. Hope you've enjoyed these lessons, and I'll see you later this week. Don't forget, Monday we're going to review lessons 5, 6, 7, and 8. Tuesday we're going to test. Wednesday we'll go over a video and Lesson 9, and Thursday and Friday we'll be into Lesson 10. So we're rolling. Have a great rest of the weekend and a good week coming up.